Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari. So we're on text 30, I think. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. This is the third part. Yeah. Part 3. Text 30. Yeah. So, we do the word for word after we go through the verse. Yeah. Okay. Sasam vritas tatra maham mahiyasam brahmarsi rajarshi devarsi sangahai vyarachataram bhagavan yatendur graharshatara nikar rai paritaha sa samvritas tatra Maham Mahiyasam Brahmarshi Devarsi Ganhai Vyarachatalam Bhagavan Yatindur Grahar Shatara Nikarai Paritaha. Anybody want to repeat?
We don't have the same thing on
Different verse on the board.
board.
I was wondering about that. Because I was looking at it earlier and I said, that doesn't look familiar.
Which word? What?
Verse 30.
Yeah, you changed the right one. That's not the right one there. That one is 31.
The Santamasinam, that one.
So, actually we can pass this book around if you want. I can give it a shot.
Or this one too.
I don't have my other pair of glasses.
This is smaller book. Might be
Yeah.
easier.
Let me try this. There's another pair of glasses here that might help me. I have no glasses on. Getting light. Samvritas tatra mahan mahiyasam mitam tatra mahan mahisatam Brahmasi Rajasi Devashi Sangai Brahmasi Rajasi Devashi Sangai Varochatalam Bhagavan Yatendur Grahaksha Tara Naikarai Parita. More try? About 30, yeah.
The Sambritas Tatra Mahan Mahiyasam Ramarshi Rajarshi Devarshi Sangai Vyarochalam Bhagavan Yatendur Grahaksha Tara Nikalai Parita
Sasambritas tatra mahan mahiyasam Brahma Shira Jashi Devashi Sangaihi Vyarochataram Bhagavan Yatendur Grahakshatara Nikarat Paritaha
Sasamritas tatra mahan mahiyasam Ramarshi Rajarishi Devarshi Sangaha
Brahma Shira Jashi Devashi Sangaihi
Vayaro Chatalam Bhagavan Yatendur
Vyarochataram Bhagavan Yatendur
Raharshkratara Nikara Parita
Grahakshatara Nikarat Paritaha.
Well, that went pretty well.
That it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. Sa Shri Shukdev Goswami
Shri Sukadeva Goswami.
Samvritaha
Samvritaha.
surrounded by
Tatra.
there Mahan
Mahan.
great
Great.
Mahishayam
Mahishayam.
Mahiyasam
Mahiyasham.
of the greatest
Of the greatest.
Ramarsi
Ramarshi.
saint among the Brahmanas
Saint among the Brahmanas.
Vajarshi
Vajarshi.
saint among the kings Devarshi saint among the demigods.
saint among the demigods.
Sangahai,
Sangahai,
by the assembly of.
by the assembly of.
Vyarochata,
Bhagavatam,
well deserved.
well deserved.
Alam,
Alam,
able.
able.
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
powerful.
powerful.
Yata,
Yata,
as.
as.
Induhu,
Induhu,
the moon.
the moon.
Griha,
Viha,
planets.
planets.
Riksha,
Riksha,
heavenly bodies.
heavenly bodies.
Tara,
Tara,
stars.
stars.
Nikarahai,
Nikarahai,
by the assembly of.
by the assembly of.
Paritaha,
Paritaha,
surrounded by. Shukadeva Goswami was then surrounded by saintly sages and demigods, just as the moon is surrounded by stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies. His presence was gorgeous, and he was respected by all. Please repeat. Shukadeva Goswami
Sukadeva Goswami
was then surrounded by saintly sages
was then surrounded by saintly sages
and demigods,
and demigods.
just as the moon is surrounded by stars,
Just as the moon is surrounded by stars,
planets, and other heavenly bodies.
planets, and other heavenly bodies.
His presence was gorgeous,
His presence was gorgeous,
and he was respected by all.
and he was respected by all.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Jai. In the great assembly of saintly personalities, there was Vyasadeva, the Brahmarshi, Narada, the Devarshi, Parsuram, the great ruler of the Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. Shukadeva Goswami was not known as Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, or Devarshi, nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyas, or Parsuram. And yet, he excelled them in respects paid. This means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami. You want me to read that one again? That's the whole purport.
Yeah.
You'd like me to read it again?
Yeah.
Translation again too?
Yeah.
Okay, translation. Shukadeva Goswami was then surrounded by saintly sages and demigods, just as the moon is surrounded by stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies. His presence was gorgeous, and he was respected by all. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the great assembly of saintly personalities, there was Vyasadeva, the Brahmarshi, Narada, the Devarshi, Parshuram, the great ruler of the Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. Shukadeva Goswami was not known as Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, or Devarshi, nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyas, or Parshuram. And yet, he excelled them in respects paid. This means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami. We read earlier about how Shukadeva Goswami was so beautiful. He captivated everyone. He was followed by, children and women were following him. Just like you might say, we talk about cheap adoration from the innocent public, but anytime you see a massive quantity of just one of the qualities of Krishna, everyone is so captivated. I mean, it could be renunciation, it could be fame, beauty, opulence, knowledge. Any one of those qualities in a small degree in the material world, everyone is so attracted to that. Little do they know they're actually being attracted to Krishna's qualities. We know it. We could let them in on the secret if they were at all interested. So, when I was reading this originally, I was reading about this and I was thinking, wow, And I didn't know if I should be thinking like this, but this is just like Shukadeva Goswami being attracting and everyone admiring him. They thought he was so beautiful. And they loved being in his presence. I was just thinking, wow, it's just like Srila Prabhupada. And I thought, should I think like that? And then right at the end of the purport, Prabhupada says, this means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami. So that told me that I was not wrong thinking like that, because when you're near Prabhupada, you're in that Vrindavan bubble. Everyone knew it too. Everyone could feel protected, sheltered, and he never knew. I think Shamsundar said he never knew what was going to happen next. Every time he went in the room with Srila Prabhupada, he was always excited because he never knew what was going to happen next. He knew it would be wonderful, transcendental, and exciting. So, I wanted to read a little bit from Acharya, which I don't know if you know this book. You can't read it says Acharya right here. One of teaches by example about the glories of Srila Prabhupada. From Bhagavad Gita 2:54, Bhagavad Gita as it is. O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? This is from the forward. If we glorify Srila Prabhupada, when we glorify Srila Prabhupada, we often describe his extraordinary achievements. The number of temples he opened, disciples he initiated, books he wrote, and so on. That is surely one way to glorify him, but it is incomplete. Underlying Srila Prabhupada's achievements, after all, were his remarkable spiritual qualities, and so another way to praise his divine grace is to focus on them and show how he expressed them in his person. Srila Prabhupada was full of saintly qualities, and we want the whole world to take note of them, and join us in honoring him. Srila Prabhupada said that a Vaishnava is one who can sit down anywhere, under any conditions, and be happy. He says, all I need is a place to lay down, a little prasadam, and if there's some service I can do for Krishna, please let me do that. So Vaishnava, I was talking to Fed just yesterday, and I was telling him, when I used to be on a job, in maintenance, it was factory maintenance. And there were at least two people that told me, why do you take everything people give you? You know what I mean? I said, it doesn't bother me at all, you know what I mean? Because I'd always do my work, and then they would put things on me, they'd trick me and add things to my list I was a weekend person. So I get all my stuff done, and then some of theirs, and they never hired me a helper. And they're asking me, why do you do it? But, devotee is different than most people. We have coping mechanisms that, karmis are not aware of. Transcendental coping mechanisms. Because just like you can be out in a parking lot doing Sankirtan, and, all you have to do is look at the sky and think the sky is blue. It's like Krishna, the clouds, that's Balaram. You can just look at the sky and it's vast, it's always there. On a cloudy day, you just think that, Shamsundar, Krishna is blackish and beautiful. Shamsundar, like the color of a monsoon rain-filled cloud, So the devotee is never alone. When we're out there on Sankirtan, we feel Prabhupada's presence more than ever. And when we're preaching to somebody, we can't stop smiling because we're praying to Krishna in our heart, please let me say something to help this conditioned soul. They're suffering more than he can possibly understand. And that same person could go home and commit suicide. That's just how prevalent suicide is these days, and how depressed people really are. They see no way out. If you talk to any particular person out there in America, their debts, their credit card debts are so massive. You know, they just work to try to get out of debt, basically speaking. And then they have all the other bills they have to pay. And they have to try to please people. People that are impossible to please. Their family members, their bosses, you know. No one's ever satisfied in the material world. The only satisfaction is actually Krishna consciousness. That's what we were built for. That's what we were designed for. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. We're all pleasure seekers, Prabhupada says. So we're never alone. The Vaishnava is Kripalo Akrita Drodha Satya Sara Sama Nidosha Vadanya Midu Suchi Akimshana. And then there's 2 more verses. Devotees, the translation, devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild, and clean. They are without material possessions, and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna, and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities, lust, anger, greed, and so forth. They eat only as much as required, and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. And silent doesn't just mean that we just don't say anything. One thing about silence with the devotee is that he's not interested in speaking about the mundane world, you know. He's very peaceful and transcendental within. He likes to speak very much about Krishna. But he knows it's just a waste of air speaking about the mundane world. It's very boring for a soul who has been exposed to Krishna consciousness. It's just painful to mundane subject matters. Are just a waste of time, and you feel that too, you know, whenever you're feeling, you know, talking Pujapa, there's just the feeling of mundaneness and actually painful. And of course, as a devotee, we know it's a waste of time. That's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22, 78 through 80. So this book actually goes through these different qualities of a pure devotee. And I just thought I'd read a few if it's okay.
I listed them yesterday.
Oh, you did?
We didn't talk about them, but it's sort of interesting.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I'm your humble servant.
Yeah,
So.
I find it interesting, curious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just listed them in the purport.
I love how you personalize your service to Srila Prabhupada. You put his glasses on during class, and you turn to the correct page.
Yeah.
I was watching that and meditating on that the other day.
Yeah, sometimes I forget to take them off, though. Yeah.
That's so wonderful. Such personal service. So in this book, there's a picture with each of the qualities. So beautiful. Merciful. This is from purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:22-21. That quote, that is the way of Krishna consciousness. Pure devotees are so absorbed in thought of Krishna that they have no other engagement. Although they may seem to think or act otherwise, they are always thinking of Krishna. The smile of such a Krishna-conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling, he wins so many admirers, disciples, and followers. And we just saw that in the Bhagavatam, where Shukadeva Goswami would smile and was captivated. They couldn't help it. Humble. Personally, I am non-entity. This is a letter from 1968. Personally, I am non-entity. I have come here on the order of my spiritual master, and he has kindly sent all of you boys to assist me. So whatever is being done, there is no credit for me. But all credit goes to my spiritual master because he has arranged everything, and I am simply trying to abide by his order. Truthful. Devotees are always humbly offer respect to everyone, But when there is a discussion on a point of Shastra, they do not observe the usual etiquette. Satyam bruyat priyam bruyat. They speak only the satyam, truth, although it may not necessarily be priyam, pleasing. Letter 1976. Equal to everyone. This is purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.12. The demons think of everyone as their friend or enemy, but Vaishnavas say that since everyone is a servant of the Lord, everyone is on the same platform. Therefore, a Vaishnava treats other living entities neither as friends nor as enemies, but instead tries to spread Krishna consciousness, teaching everyone that we are all one as servants of the Supreme Lord, but are uselessly wasting our valuable lives by creating nations, communities, and other groups of friends and enemies. Faultless. This is a lecture from Bhagavad Gita 5:14-22. One who has cultured himself that these different activities of the material world have nothing to do with him, his only business is to become Krishna conscious. Then it is to be understood that he has conquered death even in this present life. This sort of equilibrium in the transcendental stage of Krishna consciousness is called faultless. It is a faultless life. Magnanimous. This is a letter, 1972. The spiritual master accepts the sinful activities of his disciples from the first initiation. I may give initiation very easily, but what can I do? I am prepared to go to hell for the service of Lord Chaitanya. What was that? They said, that Prabhupada said when nobody asked him where he would go in his next life or in the future. You hear that he said, I will go to the hellish planets. You didn't hear that?
I don't know. I think it's in the air, but I don't really know.
Well, where he's at, I guess that's where we're going to be, I hope. Wherever he's at.
I was thinking of us where we were.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji?
Compared to where he is, we're in hellish existence. He's always coming to save us.
I was just thinking, we just talked about just now, we said, please give us a shade of your lotus feet. That Vrindavan bubble, so fortunate that its shade, even in materially speaking, is very welcome and very nice and refreshing. But transcendentally speaking, taking shelter of the Dham, taking shelter of Prabhupada's lotus feet and the deities, we're truly in paradise. We just wish we could share it with more souls.
But Sudhakirti Prabhu said that Prabhupada, sometimes like when he was being massaged, he was massaging his feet once in the Atlanta, and there was a painting there, the one where Krishna and the cowherd boys were running with the cows. And Prabhupada saying, I wish I could be there with the cowherd boys and the cows. I long for that. So I don't know, but just that's what he said. That's the only thing I ever heard. But I've heard people talk about how Prabhupada was going to go.
Yeah, the devotee never says that I found Krishna. He's always
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also in the pastime with George Harrison. And then George Harrison,
where are you?
Yeah, he wrote
the song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
He wrote a song, and Prabhupada said, yes, this is the right move. And George Harrison said, I got this idea from talking with you sometime in the past.
They say that sometimes George Harrison would walk through his garden and come up with songs, because he was a gardener at heart. Next quality is mild. Letter of October 1967. You have written to say that I am hard as a thunderbolt and softer than a rose, and it is quite right in the line of Krishna consciousness. Clean. Brahminical life means to be very, very clean, inside and out. Inside by chanting and hearing, and outside by bathing 3 times daily. Letter of December 7th, 1975. Inside by chanting and hearing. I know Prabhupada said that The chanter of Bhagavatam is purified, and the listener is also purified. Without material possessions, lecture on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 11. I have come to your country by aeroplane, not to see your country. I have come for Krishna's business, to see if I can induce you to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we have no concern with this aeroplane or motor car or anything. We take advantage. Similarly, when we take advantage of this body for advancing of Krishna consciousness, then it is very nice. Performs welfare work for everyone. Just see the example. I am not proud, but because I have got little taste for it, therefore I am preaching all over the world. I don't say I am perfect. I have got little taste for Krishna Bhakti, so I have no distinction that, quote, this is Indian, this is American, this is African. Everyone I am giving this Harinam. This was a morning walk in Bombay, 1974. Peaceful. It is all in Krishna. You cannot find peace outside Krishna activities, outside Krishna consciousness. That is not possible. It is all in Krishna. You cannot find peace outside Krishna activities, outside Krishna consciousness. That is not possible. Lecture on Bhagavad Gita. Surrender to Krishna. This is a letter, 1970. I had immense opportunity to indulge in the 4 principles of simple life because I was connected with a very aristocratic family. Krishna always saved me, and throughout my whole life, I do not know what is illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, or gambling. So far my present life is concerned, I do not remember any part of my life when I was forgetful of Krishna. Desireless. Room conversation, Bombay, 1977. I have gone through a variety of stages of life, so I have got full experience of this material world. I don't want it. That determination is there. Society, family, love, friendship, these nonsense, everything, out. I have tasted. I am no more interested with this material. But then one might say, yeah, but I mean, having a lifetime partner is a wonderful thing. Having friendship and having real friends. Prabhupada said that the spiritual world means friendship, and the material world means jealousy, envy. But around devotees, we advocate friendship. You know what I mean? And we even know the exchanges between devotees. But when it's genuine friendship, it's meaningful and fulfilling. But if it's just going through the motions, that's different. Because we know we're very actually expert at making friends because we come from the spiritual world. We're all hankering for that close friendships and stuff. Indifferent to material acquisition. Letter 1972. Vaishnava means one who is able to sit down anywhere under any conditions and be happy. He wants only a place to lay down, a little prasadam, and if there's a little service he can do, gladly let me do it for Krishna. That's all. I love this one because it's got my favorite picture of Prabhupada looking out the window in Vrindavan.
Where is this book from? Who did this?
I don't know. I don't know what I mean is I know I got it. I don't know if it was a gift. I forgot. It's been a while. But I love the pictures.
Did you ever hear the voice Seshadas?
Yes.
He's the one that
Sesha?
is Sesha, S-E-S-A.
Yeah, she's right. Seshadas. Yeah.
The one who does the legal work.
No.
He got inspiration from Maharaj Prabhu.
Oh,
He had
wow.
book with 26 qualities of a devotee Vaishnava behavior. So even though a lot of devotees were saying, who's going to look at the book? But I could see it's a very transcendental, sweet book. I have one too, and once in a while I like to look at it because it talks about who in our life has given us that wonderful example of all the different qualities of Srila Prabhupada. Talks about it.
And the interesting thing is I just gave, I lent to Katja this morning the the book that Satru wrote on the 26 qualities.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting. It's all kind of like transcendental coincidences. Paramatma is arranging it.
Yeah, I think he mentions that about the 26 qualities, the report, and then beginning forward. There's at least 4 pages here on milestones and Srila Prabhupada's life, dates and everything, in the back of the book. Anyway, that's one of my favorite sayings about Vaishnava is someone who can sit down anywhere and be happy. Yeah, I love that. My other favorite picture, so Prabhupada, it's only a couple pages past that. It's actually this one right here. I love this. He looks so beautiful there. Effulgent. He looks like he's in the spiritual world.
Yeah. Looks like he's looking at the spiritual world. He is in the spiritual world.
Yeah. He's always saying Krishna. Now, Prabhupada said that a pure devotee, when he feels the warmth of the morning sun, he feels the loving embrace of his lover, you know. So, I say Prabhupada's seeing Krishna everywhere. I mean, I'm sure that means he sees Krishna in everything, and Prabhupada's seeing Krishna too. You know, I'm no one to comment on that. Fixed. It is not very encouraging. Still, I am not a man to be disappointed. 1965. It's a letter from 1965. Now this one's very inspiring. It comes with that favorite picture we're just talking about. That controls 6 bad qualities. Therefore, Rupa Goswami has introduced a system of regulative principles, which I have taught you also. These regulative principles, such as rising before 4 a.m. for Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds minimum on beads daily, reading books, going for the street Sankirtan, preaching to anyone and everyone. That's what I believe, because wherever I go, I try. But I don't give an opportunity to become offensive. I just open up the door and say, oh, you practice yoga to the women, you know. And they think, oh, I must look really good. He thinks I do yoga. And immediately, it's like you're fishing, to use a bad term, but, you're putting the bait out there and they go for it. And with the gentleman, I say, oh, do you do martial arts? Do you UFC? And of course they think, oh, man, why is he saying that? I guess I look like I'm a fighter, or I do martial arts, or, so it goes right in there. They're complimented. They love it, So it's just how to break the ice and make them smile. If you tell them a joke right after that, or something to make them smile and laugh, it works really, really good. Because out of love, we do these things. Out of love, We're not trying to manipulate anybody. We're just trying to open the door for them to see Krishna. We're trying to hand them baby Krishna. We're trying to give them baby Krishna. But, of course, you have to know how to take care of baby Krishna, too. Preaching to anyone and everyone, offering the prasad like that. These principles of devotional service are there to safeguard us from Maya's attack by keeping us always enthusiastic. If we strictly observe these principles, we shall remain always enthusiastic. These are the sources and maintainers of our what? Enthusiasm. That's 1, 2, 3, he mentions it right there for emphasis. That these are the sources and the maintainers of our enthusiasm to serve Krishna. It's a letter of 1972. And everybody knows what is the first principle of the 6. Let's see, what do they call it? The first one is the most important, I think, was enthusiasm. 6. Okay, that's what I learned from my godbrothers, my older godbrothers in Sankirtan, all those wonderful devotees, Surdas, Vachasika, Nakatma, all those devotees, in early days. They shared their enthusiasm, you know what I mean? They just blessed me, so I feel really, really, really fortunate.
Have you ever seen any of Vaisheshikas? They say call him Vaisheshika now. Have you seen his Facebook page?
Nah, I hardly ever on the internet, but I probably need to.
Oh, he's doing a lot of really strong
I would love to meet him in person. He's so far away.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to meeting him in person. He gets been so long. Eats only as much as required. Everything, this is a letter, 1970. Everything should be regulated in devotional service, just like eating. Eating is necessary to remain fit, but too much eating means disease, and too little eating means starving. I know I have to start preaching on the internet, I mean, I'd rather write letters and talk to people in person, but I know I need to preach on it.
Well, he's in Silicon Valley, and he has all these people coming that work at Amazon, Yahoo, all these different. So and then Saguna, Yashama, like that. From India, they went to college here, and then they became, Krishna conscious. So that's what his whole thing is. He's working with people that are in the internet cyber world. So they just set everything up. And
to me, I've been out there on second time with him, and he was always, I don't even have to mention Shukadeva Goswami. Just Vaisasika alone. We all know what he was like, and I saw him, what he would say to people. He would preach right from the Bhagavatam, and people would eat it up, loved it. He was so expert. They loved being around him. And they would even tell me, he's quite a guy, And then, of course, Suradas, he was excited too. He was wonderful to be around too. I'm serious. They all had their own different kinds of qualities.
They stayed in the Atlanta Temple when I was present there. They would go out to the Atlanta airport, and at 7 o'clock, with that big rip-roaring old-style kirtan, sweating.
Suradas would be sweating puddles.
Yeah, and the key to a good kirtan is by the end, you don't have a voice.
It was nice seeing these young devotees here that jumping up and down, dance like we used to do. Boy, those were the days. Without inebriation, letter 1971. If we try for the very best for Krishna, then we make rapid advancement in Krishna consciousness. But not that we become foolhardy. No, discretion is the better part of valor. So if we keep a cool head, then we can try for such big, big things and meet with all success. I love this picture, Srila Prabhupada, because he looks so muscular and powerful. Look at that. Doesn't he look young and powerful, Oh, I'm sorry. He looks so strong there. And he's smiling, Respectful. Yes, every one of us should be ideal to the other. So I love this one. This is so nice. This is a letter, 1965. Yes, every one of us should be ideal to the other, so everyone can get impetus to make progress more and more. And I know that as we mature in our devotional service, what I've noticed is that, you have to be very careful what you say, especially to young devotees, because smallest little thing that we might say to them might actually burn them out and turn them away, Because I've had so many people that confide in them and talk to you about, over the years, So it's just so nice to see how you treat devotees yourself,
Yeah, I'm not the best example.
But you've been a great example for me over the years, Prabhuji, seriously. I do miss our times in Tennessee and Alabama, too. But I want to thank you for that, Prabhuji. Prabhupada says, yes, every one of us should be ideal to the other, so everyone can get impetus to make progress more and more. Even if we're in a bad mood, if you're an actor and you act, as you act, even if you're not into it that day, but you act the part, you become the part. You might even be having a headache, you're having a horrible day, you don't even want to do this, you want to be here for rehearsal or whatever. But if you get into that role, you can forget your other self, which is a nice thing in most cases, for me at least.
Jadavani asked Prabhupada, how do I be enthusiastic from not?
Yeah.
He said, Prabhupada said, just be enthusiastic. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. That's what Nike. Think about it. Look at all these things that came from Krishna consciousness. Adidas, Adidas, the original, the first, and servant of the first.
When I first started seeing that, I was in India, and what is this? Adidas, what is this? And then I heard it was some new, and then they changed it in some places, like not Malaysia, Thailand place, they drop a letter, it's more like, das, adas, or adi,
I'm wondering if Adi Purusha Das would be servant of the original person, but the last ones I saw, there was a gentleman walking around with big letters on the tongue of his shoe saying Adi Das. It was so obvious, you know what I mean?
Well, how about Yamaha? They have 3 tilak signs. They're like spokes, but have you seen that? They're like 3 tilak.
Look like tuning forks, sort of.
Yeah, perfect tilak signs.
Yeah, and not only that, but even Walmart's got the little soul thing there.
Oh yeah.
But there's so many, because back in the 50s and 60s, before they realized, Rama's the name of God, we can't have that. It was Washo Rama, it was Shako Rama, it was Skato Rama.
Yeah, they've started a.
It was a Polarama.
Polarama, exactly, yeah. It's everywhere.
They started a devotee prasadam restaurant in Michigan. They call it Vajrarama.
Actually,
it's a new thing. Yeah.
Madhava Prabhu had an idea back in, we were in Gainesville, and you said we should have a fast food chain and call it Hari Rama.
Hari Rama?
Hury. Hari Rama. And you see a guy like this, right? Like a fast food thing.
I could always count on mentioning the Beatles, but it's getting with these young people, some have no idea what you're talking about. George Harrison, John Lennon, and the Hare Krishnas, and then some of them never even heard of the Beatles,
I think they're pretty well known.
Yeah, they are. They're still so like anything, Grave. It is said by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. Bhagavad Gita, purport 928. I know they asked Puri Maharaj to comment on Srila Prabhupada. I don't know if you saw that film, but he sat there and he sat there and he sat there like he was thinking. And then finally he said, it's impossible to know either the heart or the mind of a pure devotee. I thought that was so, wow, beautiful.
Yeah, he was a great defender of Prabhupada.
I can't tell what time it is, and I don't know what time. I meant to ask what time.
It's about ready to just ask questions.
Wrap it up. Okay.
Well, because yesterday she asked about graves, so you finished that. What about silence?
Oh, okay. So I could skip back to silence?
Yeah, if you want.
Because we're almost to the end of it anyway. Expert and silent. Yeah, okay, how about that? Last two real quick. They're short. Expert. Srila Prabhupada, this is Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Quote, a devotee is expert. This means that he is willing to do anything. He does not say because he is a Brahmana, he cannot do a menial task.
Haribol.
I remember Prabhupada, there was a new sannyasi, and he asked Prabhupada, what do I do now? And Prabhupada said, just do the needful. Whatever needs to be done, you do that.
Yeah.
That's from Vaishnava Behavior, the 26 Qualities of a Devotee. Satsur Das Goswami, page 197. And silent. Devotee, quote, this is devotee speaking. What does it mean that the devotee sometimes speaks and sometimes is silent? Very interesting answer. Srila Prabhupada says, it means he is not obliged. I was discussing with Fayette last night about this because we were reading this. And I said, personally myself, I believe that, there's maybe at least two different parties, maybe. If you speak, then one party will know your intentions, whether you belong to that party or whether you belong to that party. But if you don't speak, then nobody really knows, for one thing. But then I mentioned to Fayette, I said, wow, it's so amazing. I was just thinking that if the person's quiet and they're just sitting there thinking, which is a tactic that works in a lot of ways, actually. But then I looked at, wait a minute. the statue of the thinker, right? And it dawned on me, look what Prabhupada's doing in this picture. I said, I don't believe this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
He's just quiet because, there's times when my boss might have been talking to me or somebody, and I just wouldn't say anything. And they assume that, maybe I should pay him the higher wage. He's not saying anything. They think about quitting, You don't know, But anyway, so it means you're not obliged. And what do you think about what he means by that, Prabhuji?
About being what?
If
if somebody asks you a question that's not relevant to, Krishna consciousness or your field of expertise, you're not obliged to, try to come up with an answer or what, who are you going to vote for? I'm not obliged to answer you that.
Yeah, Prabhupada doesn't. Nobody has to say anything. You can't force them.
When I had the gallery downtown, there was a whole bunch of people in the gallery. It was a sort of everybody was being very vocal, and it was right before an election, Bush versus, I think, Kerry. And this woman said, "Who are you going to vote for?" And the whole place went like hush. And I said, "I think that's why we have a curtain on the booth." And everybody went.
And so everybody liked that answer.
Yeah,
they liked that answer. You didn't take either side. Means you're not obliged.
But I've only voted once, and that was for a devotee.
Yeah. Made it count. Make it count. Were there any questions, comments?
Did you mention something about doing the needful, right? Like when your sannyasi was asked to do something. So what came to my mind when you're talking about it, I don't know the exact details, but it had to do with being with the deities rather than going to worship in Prabhupada. In his mind, he wanted to go, before all the rest of the devotees, but he felt like this was necessary thing to do, to be with the deities and protect them and be there instead of going to, before this grand worship of Prabhupada. And then what came out was, I think it was Bhavananda came, and he was saying, Prabhupada was wondering if there was someone there to watch the deities, make sure, and he felt very happy, because...
Yeah, was that Radha Swami or someone else?
No, it was, Because it was the devotee, remember there were two newsletters, Sankirtan newsletters, the one from the BBT, and then there was the one that was every week. His name began with an S. He's the one who started that newsletter.
Oh.
I can't remember it right now. I'll probably think of it later, but yeah. I saw that, or I think it was in the following Srila Prabhupada series. And what it was is that there was a big function in India, in Hyderabad, and then he was the pujari, and he wanted to go and be with everyone else, but he had heard that Prabhupada said, someone should always be with the deities. And so he stayed there, and he was really feeling like left out. And then Bhavananda came running down, and to see because Prabhupada wanted to know if there was anyone with the deities. And he goes, "Oh, good, you're here. Good." Prabhupada wanted to know if someone was here. And he felt so, I did it right. And so then Prabhupada went back to tell him who was there.
Yeah.
So, that's...
Anybody else have a comment or question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you all, Prabhuji's for allowing me to serve you. Guru Srila Prabhupada, Shri Gauranga Sai, Shri Radha Radha Kata Ki Jai.
Mayapur Prabhu ki jai.